Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special edition of Walk by Faith, the Author Showcase, presented by Walk by Faith Publishing, a division of Walk by Faith Worldwide. I'm Ken Dowdy, and today I'm sitting down with a true community hero, a man whose story will make you laugh, cry, reflect, and most of all, believe. He went from the streets of Mobile, Alabama, to the top car salesman in the Los Angeles area, all while giving back to his community in ways that even Hollywood and Congress took notice. Please welcome the one and only Alvin, Alabama Lovett.
What a joy. Anytime you hear your name called, it reminds me of a song they sing in the Baptist church. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name.
Hey.
And boy, I tell you, boy, just to hear my name called, I just want to give God all the praise and all the glory. So thank you for calling my name, Alvin, Alabama Lovett.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure meeting you and your family over the last couple of months and getting to know you. Now the audience will get to know you. So welcome to the show. It's a blessing to have you here today. How does it feel to finally be a published author?
It's a dream come true, but I have to tell you, without the dream of my wife, Joyce Elaine Ross Everhart Lovett.
Oh.
Well, there's a lot of names in there, but that's my wife. She says that the stories that I told her were stories that probably need to be written and shared. And so with her in mind, well, we started on this journey. I guess it's been over 15 years.
Wow.
So it's a journey, but this is just not just a story. This is about 3 books that we've condensed into just one book so that people can see it. Hundreds and hundreds of heroes and sheroes are in this book. So once you read the book, you're going to find all of the names that you may have read in the history books and in the library section is in this book. There's not another book like this book other than the one book, and that's the Holy Bible.
Wow.
So if you already have the Holy Bible, make sure you get the second book, Alabama Buttermilk.
We are talking, of course, to the author today of Alabama Buttermilk, the making of a humble hero. Let me just say, this isn't just the book like he just said. This is a movement, it's history, it's testimony, it's inspiration, it's an underdog story come true. So what inspired you? You talk about your wife kind of pushing you down that path. A little deeper if I can. Peel the onion for me. What inspired you to really want to tell your story?
When you're given second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance in life, when you could easily not wake up, but yet God see enough blessings to allow you to wake up.
Yes, sir.
And then to overcome obstacles after obstacles after obstacles where you want to give up, but you can't give up because you got work to do, because there's a calling. And I think that it's so important. I give God all the praise and the glory that we have to share this story, because it's going to help everybody who read this book. I wish I could tell you the entire book right now. I'm so with excitement.
That's awesome. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the book, not all of it. You have to go buy the book. You share so many jaw-dropping moments in this book, from working with the Black AIDS Institute to Congresswoman Maxine Waters to leading car raffles tied to the HIV awareness movement. What chapter or moment still give you chills?
Having an opportunity to live again after a shootout at a Los Angeles Times newspaper, the largest paper in the United States at that time. I almost lost my life there. You'll find about that, a lot about that story in the book. It was just a tremendous experience for me. Having an opportunity to talk to some of the most important people in the world that impacts our world. And yet they didn't know me or who I was, and I wasn't that important, but they talked to me. Made me want to tell the story about it. You gotta read the book. Every name that you can think would make headline news or in all of the history books in the library, it's in Alabama Buttermilk.
I'm going to tease it just a little bit because I think it's exciting. Um, you were the number one car salesman, or one of the number one car salesmen in the area. A lot of people knew about you. You've given your heart to a lot of great passions. Can you talk a little bit more about the HIV movement and those that inspired you to be a community leader?
Phil Wilson. I have to mention the name Phil Wilson. Phil Wilson worked with the Clinton administration. He worked with the Obama administration. He worked in Los Angeles under Mayor Bradley's administration. He has worked globally with Dr. Fawcett, but he's also Joyce Ross, Elaine, Everhard Lovett's cousin. And so we were proud, and we had the opportunity of talking about how many people were actually dying of HIV/AIDS, how many people were still contracting the disease, particularly in African-American communities, and also in 37 of the largest cities in America. And I asked questions, and he says, well, I can't help. And so you got to read the book. You can see just how advanced this book touches all aspects of America. That's jaw-dropping to know just how much of an impact that we did right here in America, saving lives, selling people automobiles, and giving away a car through means of a raffle.
Wow. So you talk about in the book spending almost $250,000 of your own monies to help other people, not just to promote the Kia car brand, but to elevate your community. That's unheard of, everybody. I'm looking for a car as we speak, and you got to have discernment when talking to dealers. What wanted you to give back?
Before I talk about how much I gave, I have to really talk about how much I discounted the cars.
Okay.
I didn't let people pay what they charged for cars. I didn't go after making commission to sell a car. As a matter of fact, most of the time I was the king of the mini deal, which is what they call a $100 commission. I would still share throughout, and that $250,000, that was over the entire career.
Yes, sir.
With me selling cars. I just want you to know that it wasn't in one day. I always set aside a couple of $1,000s a month. The dealership spent money, but I had to match my promise that if you would send someone to see Alabama, I would help your organization in whatever needs that your organization had. And we touched schools, churches, small organizations, individuals. We touched so many people. It's unbelievable.
Wow. If you're just now joining us, I'm talking to the author of Alabama Buttermilk, The Making of a Humble Hero, Mr. Alvin Alabama Lovett himself, published by Walk by Faith Publishing, a division of Walk by Faith Worldwide. You can find that book at alabamabuttermilk.com and Amazon. We also have to stop and thank Miss Barbara Wood for her contribution in helping Brother Alvin get the book to this point, and all of her contributions. Thank you, Miss Barbara Wood. What inspired you? Let's talk about your faith. This book is filled with divine timing and purpose and God's hand on your life. How has your relationship with God guided your steps, especially when others didn't believe in you?
Near-death experience. When you get close to that point where you can die,
wow,
and then you know that your work has not been completed, then you have an obligation to do something, not just talk about it, but to do something. And so that's what we have to do, and that's what I had to do. And so I was blessed to be able to help not only the city of Compton, I promised the entire city of Compton, if you would come to Carson, California, and get a car from Alabama, you don't have to pay what they charge, and I will give the city $100 for everyone. Well, they didn't just come by ones or twos, they came by the hundreds.
Wow.
The dealership that I worked with sold more than 900 cars in 1 month. There were some days where there were 10 people standing in line to get to Alabama to get the car.
Wow. Because you had the deal, you had the special, you were the one connected to the community.
Absolutely. What a blessing.
Wow.
What a blessing. A country boy from Mobile, Alabama, in the big city. And I'm not saying in small towns. They came from Gardena. They came from Long Beach. They came from Cerritos. They came from South Central, Watts, Inglewood. I'm telling you, they came and then they preached about me on the radio, do sermons all throughout the radio, KJLH and all other gospel stations, telling all their people, if you want a car, come see Alabama.
This is awesome. A lot of people know you as the #1 Kia salesman, but not a lot of people know that you were a TV host, a producer, as you had a groundbreaking show in Alabama called Visions. Can you tell us about the legacy of Visions and why that still matters today?
There were so many major experiences. One, having Reverend Jesse Jackson come and says, I'm not going to talk to the anchors of the TV station. We want to have a holiday for Martin Luther King's birthday. He wanted to talk to me. And Irene Johnson Ware, who was the president of the Gospel Network across America, told Jesse to come talk to Alabama if you want a holiday for Martin Luther King in America. Willard Scott, I can go on and on, but maybe I need to tell everybody to read the book.
I like it. I like that. Wow. So if you're just now joining us today, I'm sitting down with author Alvin Alabama Lovett. His latest, first written title, Alabama Buttermilk, The Making of a Humble Hero. He pours out his heart, he pours out his life, he shares in ways that is authentic, it's real. And I encourage everybody to read this book, to purchase this book, not just because I'm the publisher, but because this man has given us history. Like, this is a history lesson. You can get the book at alabamabuttermilk.com. It's also available at Amazon and many other fine retailers. Okay, time for Faith and Facts lightning round, as I would like to call it. So you ready?
I am so ready.
All right. First car ever sold.
The first car that I sold was a Jeep. Dave Beckham was one of the most famous soccer players in the world, happened to come in and got a car from Alabama. I said, wow, Dave Beckham. Casey Price, wife, came in, got a Chrysler 300. You know Reverend Price.
Yeah, the preacher. I used to see him on the television here.
Yeah, and then for me to see his wife, and she came to see Alabama.
What'd you sell her?
I sold her a Chrysler 300. Everybody in LA knows.
That's awesome. Okay, what's your favorite car that you ever sold?
My favorite car is a Kia Optima. Blake Griffin in 2011 jumped over a Kia Optima during the NBA All-Star game and made that basket. He won the slam dunk contest. And you know, Blake Griffin began to work with Alabama too in his charitable donations. Jamal Crawford with the Clippers worked with Alabama. Yeah. But I still remember the car that LeBron James drove, which was the K900. That's my favorite car. But, you know, they didn't sell too many.
Shout out to Blake Griffin as an Oklahoman. He's fond to your Boomer Sooner. I know your name is Alabama. You're probably the only Alabama that we love and respect this side of Oklahoma. But shout out to the Oklahoma-Alabama connection with Brother Griffin. Gospel song that still moves you to this day.
George, what's that gospel song that we were listening to on the way over here? Marvin Sapp. Never would have made it. Never would have made it.
That's your story, huh?
Yeah, that's my story. But you know, I always have to throw in Kirk Franklin now, you know, because we got to smile. But
I've been Kirk.
But when we talk about his gratefulness, it's hard for me to tell you one song now because you asked me for one. But man, I got so much of Jesus in me.
That's good.
That, I'm overflowing.
All right, let's go. Keep going, lightning. Best food spot in Mobile.
The best food spot in Mobile for those who are going to purchase food is going to be Cozy Brown. He's on Highway 45 in Pritchard. But now, if you want to just get the most tasteful food, you got to go see Joyce Elaine Ross Eberhard Lovett at my house. We got the best food in Mobile at my house. And so that's where I go.
Save me a seat because I'm coming. I got to get there. Best food spot in LA.
The best food spot I would say would be Uncle Darryl. Uncle Darryl is on Avalon in Carson, and I can't wait. His name is Norwood Clark. He's out of Louisiana, so a lot of people like that Louisiana food. And I will be in Carson, California. I will do a book signing at the Uncle Darryl, so maybe you might want to save your appetite because it's going to be there. But also we will be in Compton, California. The Historic Society is doing a special signing day for Alabama in Carson, California. No, in Compton, California. That's my hometown. I sold cars in Carson.
Okay. Go to alabamabuttermilk.com for the latest dates on all book signings and appearances. That's alabamabuttermilk.com. There's an entire tab and page on all of his appearances. Okay, lightning round, still going here. Where'd you get the name Alabama?
Alabama came from the state that I lived in, and a relative who became famous with that name. And so I took it from my uncle. His name, I asked people, have you seen the name that his birth name? And people said, no, I haven't seen him. But when I said, have you seen Alabama? Everybody knew Alabama. So I decided I would take my uncle's name. And then the name Buttermilk came through a conversation with my author, my writer, Renelle Saunders. And we talked about buttermilk and how you get the buttermilk, from the tit of a cow. You pull the tit and the solution goes into a bucket. And once it gets in the bucket, then the portion that's becoming the buttermilk floats to the top. Your life, you can float to the top in your life. You don't have to stay down because you started somewhere low. You can go high. And from buttermilk, all of the good qualities of foods can come and be derived from the buttermilk. So I'm saying to you, there's no limit to where you can go, and no matter what you go through, don't you ever give up. Never give out and never quit, because your dreams can come true. Read Alabama Buttermilk. You'll know what I'm talking about. Alabama Buttermilk.
AlabamaButtermilk.com. If you would have one person, maybe two, I'll even take 3 or 4, that you would love to read this book, who would that be?
The first one is President Obama, and I want you to give him a call.
Okay, hold on. I got him on speed dial here.
Make sure you call Barack Obama.
Hold on. Actually, he texted me right now.
There's a special connection with President Obama and the city of Compton. And I addressed the city council about something that's unique with Compton and President Obama. You're going to see it in Alabama Buttermilk to learn, and you'll know more about it because there's a big, huge mural of our president, 44th president, in Compton. But so I would want President Obama to read the book. I also would like Michelle to read the book because Michelle was invited to Los Angeles for our Martin Luther King Day parade, but then they felt that her safety would be jeopardized.
Understood.
So we couldn't do it, but I would love for Michelle to read the book. But if there's no book to be read unless the big O reads your book. So if you got Oprah's number, Oprah, call Oprah. Oprah, I went through Kosciuszko where you live. You read about it. It's in the book. Kosciuszko, that's where I was. I got a ticket. I'm telling too much. But I want Oprah to read the book. But there's also D.L. Hughley.
Okay.
Who is one of the kings of comedy. We worked together in the Los Angeles Times newspaper. And he became a king of comedy. I would like D.L. to read the book, but also I would like Tammy Mack. And she can bring Stevie Wonder with her on the show if she will, on KJLH in Los Angeles. But I also would love to see Travis Smiley read my book. So I guess that's my short list. A long list too, if you want to hear it.
I need everybody who's watching this right now to like, share, tag at Tammy Mack, tag Travis Smiley, tag Dale Hughley, and many others. This is a powerful book. And I don't say that just because, again, I'm a small businessman trying to start a publishing company. I say that because this is history. Brother Alvin, Alabama, has experienced so much that you can learn from. This could be a movie one day. This could absolutely be a mini-series. I wouldn't even put it past Netflix to pick this up as a series. And again, I speak this not because I want this man to sell a lot of books, but because it's powerful. It'll change your life. This will encourage you.
Can I say something? I want you to know.
Please jump in here.
People got to read the book because, I tried to be in Hollywood. I tried to get into the movies.
Did you?
And you won't believe this, but I was in a movie with Angela Bassett.
Really?
And it didn't end up like we wanted to because I had to tell George to come pick me up because they kicked me off the movie set because I got caught talking to Angela Bassett. You can talk to her about it, but it's just so many fascinating stories on and on again. Many people that we met. One day I was walking in the Santa Monica Promenade,
yes, sir.
And I ran into Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil with Will Smith.
Yeah.
His name's Avery. Yeah, I ran into him. We had long conversation. It was just such a fascinating thing. All the people that come into this story, it's all in the book. It's just unbelievable. You got to read Alabama Buttermilk.
Alabama Buttermilk. Wow. So you're back home now in Alabama. What's that journey been like?
I came back home to Alabama and I left Alabama trying to fix things here in Alabama. Then I found that I got appointed to the board of directors of the Dearborn Street YMCA. And with budget cuts, I'm trying to save the Y because it helps our kids. Head Start is getting cut. And then after evenings programs are getting cut, we need a new swimming pool. I want anybody that got some money to donate it to the Dearborn Street Y. But we also have a cemetery that's called the Oakland Memorial Cemetery. It started back after 1865, right after slavery. Yes, but it's in disgrace. Nobody's cutting the grass, but all of our heroes, like Satchel Paige, his mother, is in that particular cemetery. So many famous people, and I want to do something about that. So I got involved. I'm involved with the True Vine Missionary Baptist Church that was pastored by my great-grandfather for 50 years, and now our pastor, Sandy McQueen, is giving me spiritual guidance. And so I'm so happy about that. And then I attended a school called Central High School, which was ended in 1970 because of desegregation. And so you're going to have to learn a whole lot about that. And I won't talk about, I can tell you a lot of things I'm involved in, but we're working with People United to advance the dream of keeping Martin Luther King's dream alive. And then hopefully in the book, you're going to read my first encounter with Reverend Martin Luther King as a child.
That is an exciting story, if I may. We're not going to tell it. Y'all have to read the book. Young Alabama, a young Martin. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. Final question. What do you hope readers walk away with after reading your book?
I almost would like to say I would like for them to be born again. But that's a little bit too much mustard on the hot dog.
Put the mustard on the hot dog.
But I would love for them to be inspired. I'd like for them to know that you can get up again if you fall down or if you get knocked down, to keep on, keeping on, keep faith, keep believing in yourself. Know that someone else has gone through trials and tribulations, yet they can still win. You do not have to give up.
Man, hallelujah. That's good. How can people reach you? Well, if someone wanted to reach out for maybe speaking engagement, bulk orders, a signing, how do they reach you?
Well, I wish they would call Oprah and Oprah would tell them to contact me, but got to work on that part.
Yes,
but the main thing I would like to say is remember AlabamaButtermilk.com. AlabamaButtermilk.com. AlabamaButtermilk.com.
I want to give a special shout out to Sister Auntie Mama Joyce for her support. And then also behind the scenes is your niece, Dorcas, who I've worked closely with as we were getting the book to print and the publishing process and the editing process and all that went into it. Big shout out to her. And I just want to thank her for all her effort. Alabama, thank you so much for pouring your heart out today, not just on these pages, but in your life. You all can see the vibrancy that he walks with and talks with. You are a living testimony, walking testimony of hard work, faith, purpose, and it still matters to us today. To all the viewers, do not let this moment pass you by. Head over to AlabamaButtermilk.com and grab your copy of this life-changing book today. Get it for a friend, family member. Get it for your library at your church or at your school. And if you're inspired, hit the like, hit the share, tag a friend, tag somebody important who needs this message. Again, thank you for your time today. This is Walk by Faith Publishing, a proud division of Walk by Faith Worldwide, where stories are birthed, faith is ignited, and purpose is fulfilled. Until next time, Keep walking by faith. And Alvin?
Alabama Buttermilk.com.
Keep living your purpose, everybody. Have a good day.